Culture is one of the single most important things you can have in a sales team or sales organization. A winning, compassionate family culture is really, really important if you really want to have success long term. Now, obviously a lot of people think that it's just some ethereal thing that either happens or doesn't. That's not the case. There are actually 3 ways that you can instantly create a winning family culture. The first is to actually establish core company values. What are the things that you need to believe collectively in order to succeed? You got to understand how humans work. We work on what's called dominance hierarchies. There's a psychologist called Jordan Peterson who really does some great work with this. We have what we have as perceived values in society that we have to be competent at. And those who are more competent at those things, at solving those problems, they get the lion's share of the fame and adulation. We are so internally driven to achieve what people see as successful things. And it's one of the most motivating things that anyone can really use as a weapon. So what do we actually need to figure out? Well, it's easy. What are the things that make a successful team, in your opinion, tick? And now that's going to be different for everybody. What's the kind of perfect utopian business that you feel like you can create? For me, from one of my first businesses, it was compassion, standards, and growth. I worked in sales for a very long time and saw that everyone was sort of stepping on each other. So I wanted to create a culture where people helped each other win. We lifted each other up, didn't push each other down. That's now one of the core values in the business. See, when we did that, people were actually striving to compete at who could be the best at those values. If I had people that were pushing the standards, if I had people that were caring about one another, and I had people that were getting better, especially in their own time, how could I not have a successful organization? And it's not so much as you just want to create it and say, there, it's there. You need to enforce it. In my businesses, I actually have a prize, a $100 prize at the end of the week for the employee who best demonstrated those values. What happens is they internalize those values become the dominance hierarchies, and that now becomes a core part of your identity as a business. And your identity as a business is a core element of your culture. The second thing that you've got to work on if you're trying to increase your culture or improve your culture or even create your culture is you've got to understand what I like to call the business versus fun balance. Now, the business versus fun balance is simple. You have a balance. And as a business, you're either going to be having too much business and too much fun. And as much as you'd like to think it's never going to balance on its own. There will be times when it is flat, and you'll know because that's when you'll be thriving. That's when you're topped up on both of those. That's when you're really going to be killing it as a business. But the easy thing to see is when things are going awry, it's a really easy tell. Is it too much business or am I having too much fun? See, if I'm having too much business, you're going to lose the morale in the team. They're not going to want to be there. Work's going to feel like work. On the contrary, if I'm having too much fun, I'm going to compromise my standards. People may start not taking the business as seriously as they need to. So how do we fix it? Well, it's easy. If we're having too much business, we need to introduce fun. Take the guys out on a team night. Take them on a golf day. Take them on a movie night. Something outside of the office that's different. Or alternatively, you could set a fun bonus. Hey, first person to 5 sales today gets a ride on a Lamborghini. But whoever gets the 6th sale, they have to carry an egg with them all day tomorrow. You can make it fun, spice it up, make it silly. But that's going to reintroduce that feeling like it's not really work. You always want to make people forget that they're actually working. Now, on the contrary, if I'm having too much fun and I need to reintegrate that business element, I need to up my standards. I need to now start hounding people, holding people accountable to the things that they're supposed to do. You may have to get on there, and if the guys don't like it, you say, well, hey, you should have been hitting your standards. But it's not necessarily something you should always do reactively. What you should be doing is doing that kind of stuff all the time, periodically creating that. But it can be preventative as much as it is solutionary. But the real core thing is to understand that you're going to be on the top here and leaning to one side or the other to make it work. Now, the final thing that's going to make an incredible culture in your sales team is what I call idiosyncrasies. Idiosyncrasies are the unique things that sort of make you. Make that team part of their own tribe, gives it its own identity. People are very, very tribal. Human beings, we love to be part of a tribe. It makes us feel safe. And the more that we have things that make that tribe unique that we all do together, the stronger we're going to feel that sense of unity and that pride for what we do. Now, examples of good idiosyncrasies is, everyone hands in and having a little something or other on 3, 1, 2, 3, something or other, or you can have, even in my office, we even have a special handshake. There's a lot of different things that you can do to create those idiosyncrasies. But the inside jokes, there's such a plethora of things that you can do. I even have in one of my businesses FCOM watches. For instance, like if you hit a certain amount of sales to join what we call the High Roller Club, you actually get a special watch with the company brand emblem. Now, if you're at a company function and someone sees you got those watches, they go, oh, they must be good. So that's another cool way that also drives a team. Look, culture is one of the most important things. And you look at any history of sports, you'll never see a championship team that doesn't have a phenomenal culture. If you can learn how to master these three things, you'll be well on your way. Happy hunting.